But if you close your eyes.
Hey guys, it's Brooke. So today I'm going to be talking about some regrets slash learning experience I have from cheerleading. Most of these are just like learning experiences, or like I wish I had known this, or I wish I had done this, or I wish I hadn't done this. So yeah, I'm not positive what I'm going to title this video yet, but hopefully you guys gain something from it, and I'm going to go ahead and get started. Okay, so the first thing I want to talk about is a mistake that I've made more than once, and that's overanalyzing my mental block. Even if it's positive, like I would be on my way to the gym and be like, Brooke, it's okay. Like even if you bail and you're tumbling, then it's fine because your legs are strong enough to where they'll get you to the ground. Like I would overanalyze so much, and I would create like subconsciously these scenarios of like throwing my tumbling and then stopping in midair, and I'd be like, okay, if I do stop in midair, then what should I do? And I shouldn't have even gotten to the point of like, what do I do if I bail? I should have just been like, I won't bail, I'm fine. The day that I went to the gym and wasn't thinking anything, like I had literally nothing going on in my head, like I just got to the gym and was like, flip. Like that was it. I literally like, I went from 100 to 0. Yeah, 100 to 0, because times before I would go to the gym and be like, okay, like I had notes. Like I literally read a book about mental blocks and took notes and brought those notes to practice. And I was like, okay, be confident, trust yourself, you can do it, like depend on people. And like those are all great things, but when it comes to a mental block, like trust your autopilot. So when I went to the gym, it was just like flip over. And my body was like, okay, like it wasn't a big deal. So overanalyzing it made it a big deal in my head, which made it a lot scarier for me. So don't overanalyze your mental block. I definitely want to make a video soon expanding on that, but that's all I have to say about it for now. Okay, the second thing I want to talk about is honestly something that I'm still kind of guilty of, but that is pushing through injuries too much. There's a difference between being injured and being in pain. I threw my back out at the beginning of one of my practices, and I continued the entire practice, and I tumbled and I stunted and I jumped, and I was in horrible pain, and instead of telling my coaches, I just literally like dealt with it, and the next day I found out I had legitimately sprained my spine. So that injury, I was like, I can't breathe, I'm in so much pain. I know my pain tolerance, I have a high pain tolerance, and I was like, I'm in so much pain, like something is wrong. I was right. There have been other times where I've been like, oh, I'm in pain, but I can push through it. Like if I don't think about it, it's not that bad. So you know your own body. With that being said, like follow your doctor's orders as much as you can. I know cheerleaders, athletes, coaches are guilty of not always following doctor's orders 100% for the sake of the team, basically, or the sake of a competition. I would just say to listen to your body more, because it'll help you a lot more in the long run if you take care of your body. You like still be there for your team and still do everything you can, but don't push yourself past the limits that your body will be able to healthfully allow you, if that makes sense. The next thing I wish I had known is all about leadership. I wish I'd been more willing to mat talk and be a leader even when I was shy. My first year of cheer, I was one of the oldest on a junior team, and I didn't even know we were allowed to talk during the routine, like especially at competitions. Like mat talk just wasn't really a thing. I had things I wanted to say to my teammates, but I just never really said them. Being one of the oldest on a junior team definitely gave me the opportunity of leadership, but I don't think I took over that role as much as I could have. I wish I had been less timid in vocally encouraging my teammates, because I feel like that's kind of like my favorite way to lead. There's a bunch of different ways to lead. So going off of that, I also wish I had known that you can still be shy and be a leader. Leading by example is such a huge thing, like doing what you're supposed to do and not cheating on conditioning and getting in the gym to work and supporting people by maybe not being the athlete that screams across the mat, but being the athlete that does everything she's supposed to and pats their other teammate on the back. Like you can be a leader in a whole bunch of different ways. Just don't hold back to be a leader, whether that's leading by example, just being a friend, being kind-hearted, yelling across the mat. There's so many different ways. The next thing I'm going to talk about, I so much regret this. This is my biggest regret in cheerleading. I moved up my tumbling skills way too fast. At 14, I feel like I should have been able to, because that's when I really started tumbling, I feel like I should have been able to be like, oh, I feel like I should work on this a little bit more before I move on to skills. For how much I'm in the gym, I should be a better tumbler, but I was set back so much because I learned things wrong, or I just had habits that never were corrected. When I went to Champion, it was my 4th season of cheerleading, and one of my first tumbling classes there, I had a layout, and we were working on my cartwheels and roundoffs. I was a level 4 tumbler working on cartwheels and roundoffs because, like, my roundoffs were crooked for a long time. I had so much power in my tumbling. I still do, but I don't use it I didn't use it in the right ways. I've gotten better at it, but so that's made it just a little bit harder to gain new skills. It's been harder to gain, like, specialty passes because I had to spend so much time going back and fixing technique before I could move forward with new skills. That's why when I coach, I tell all my kids this whenever they're like, I want to move on. I'm like, that's great, but we're gonna get this perfect. You will thank me later, I promise. Okay, the next one kind of goes along with this, and it's something that I didn't notice until I started doing stunts that weren't group stunts. I feel like as a back spot, I have pretty good technique in my stunting. I feel like I use my legs. I feel like I distribute my weight really evenly. But when it came to partner stunting, I don't want to say I used poor technique, but when I first started partner stunting and I first started two-manning, I realized that I was developing some habits. Thankfully, those aren't really habits anymore. Like, I was able to, like, kind of nip it in the bud and be like, no, don't do that. But basically, the habit that I had was trying to be too strong, as my flyer put it, to where I wouldn't use my legs, but I would try to, like, catch the stunt here, and then instead of bending my legs, I would just try to, like, like, push the stunt up. And then with two-mans, that wasn't really as much of the issue because obviously I have someone helping me. Two-manning as the main base is what I'm talking about. But I found the habit where I wasn't using my legs enough. And I was using my chest muscles and my arm muscles and just my entire upper body way too much, to the point where I was, like, super sore and in pain, basically. Just make sure your basing technique is correct. And the reason I say that isn't to just be like, you'll be improving faster, because that's not really my point. It's just so that you don't hurt yourself. Like, I've seen bases have, like, serious back problems because they're not basing right. Use proper technique in your stunting. Everyone talks about proper technique in tumbling and flying, but use it when you're basing too, because that can really hurt your body, so don't hurt your body. The last one is just kind of a funny one, on a light note to end this video on. I think I've told this before, I don't remember. Yeah, in my reacting to cheer video as well. I can't remember I remembered that. That was like 2 years ago when I filmed that video. But anyways, wait. Did I just say I can't remember I remembered that? I meant to say I can't believe I remembered that. It's 1 in the morning. When I was 15, which really is not that young, I had this issue where in my back handsprings, my feet stayed together, but my knees went apart. And I was like, I need to fix this issue. So I put my panel mat in my room and I started doing back handsprings. And my coach was like, put a piece of paper between your knees. And that didn't work for me because even if I squeezed my knees together, I felt like the paper just fell out anyway. So I was like, I'll use a washcloth. And then the washcloth kept slipping out. And in my head, my little arrogant brain, I was like, well, that's because, like, it's impossible to do that. When in reality, it was not impossible to do that. I just wasn't squeezing my knees together. So I decided to put a block of wood. I had this little canvas made out of wood that my friend made me. It was like this big. And it said my monogram on it. So I was like, I'll put this piece of wood in between my knees. What could go wrong? So I'm going to insert the video here. So yeah, hit me in the head. That was really stupid. I don't recommend doing that. Basically, don't use a block of wood to help you in your tumbling, or any foreign object to help you in your tumbling, unless it is in a safe way. That was really hard to say for some reason. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope you learned something from it, and I hope you are still able to enjoy your sport in quarantine, and I'll see y'all in my next video. Bye!